the best thing on my swing, and this is what helps me with driving a lot, would be my rhythm. I swing at a very, you can call it a smooth, with a smooth tempo. My favorite swingers in the world, my favorite swings in the world, Ernie Els, Steve Goosen, they've always had a really good tempo, and that's something that I have been able to relate to. I mean, I'm not so much of a power swinger, but I do have a nice, wide, elegant and smooth swing, and I managed to harvest the energy and then deliver it to the ball with a fair amount of consistency. So that's what I would think that helps me with driving, and this is something I recommend to all amateur players. I mean, sometimes I see them try to go at it too hard, and they are forgetting that the best way to maximize your distance is to actually hit the ball in the sweet spot of the club, and with the right launching angle and other specs. And to do that, you're probably going to do that more often and more consistently if you're not swinging at 110%. For me, it's important a wide takeaway, get the club as far back and with a good solid coil as you can, and then start the downswing with your hips. A little forward press with the hips, and then obviously unwinding the hips, and that's where you get the elastic band feel, and obviously end up generating more speed that way. For example, at the beginning, maybe my back was a little bit more round. Now it's a bit more straighter. The angle on the knees and the knees and the hips, they're also sharper as opposed to maybe when I was a little weaker when I turned pro. I couldn't hold the same posture. And takeaway used to be a little bit more with the hands, slightly on the inside, and then I would lift the club up, and it still looked nice at the top, but it wasn't so in sync with the body as well. And those are the things that I have worked with my coach, and then also a bit at impact. I tend to lift myself a little, so I'm like pulling off my right toe a lot, and I'm kind of trying to work to stay a bit more solid and more grounded at impact. Well, one, I think they don't only make it with driver, they make it with every club. It's just alignment. I see very often they set up to the ball and then they only stare at the ball and they forget that to be target oriented. So they actually, they take the line and then they set up, look at the ball, and then they never look up again. And I really want to emphasize them how important it is for the brain to learn to be target oriented and constantly look at the ball, look at the target, look at the ball, look at the target, and make really small final adjustments. Don't try to hit it harder than you need. Again, I'm never get tired of saying this. You're gonna hit it longer if you hit it good and straight. Then you get more. You're gonna get more carry distance. You're gonna get more roll by being in the fairway than hitting it a bit stronger and crooked. For me, it just feels like, because the ball is so far, it's forward in the stance. It's not out of my left foot or anything. It's just forward. That probably my lowest point in the middle of the swing is a few inches behind the ball, which means by the time the club is reaching the ball, it's already actually on an ascending path. So that's why it comes natural for me to swing upwards. It's nothing bad if you swing if you hit it at 0 degrees, or anything within -1 to +2 or +3 are good numbers. Yeah. Yes, I think a lot of people, and going back to the hitting up on it, it's hard to hit up on it if you put a really low tee, because the clubs are designed to have a higher sweet spot, so higher on the face than they used to in the old days. Whatever it is, try not to change it. I don't recommend any of the extremes. I don't want the club to fall off your hands, and I don't want you to strangle the club. So whatever is comfortable with your personality and your way of playing, and then try to keep it constant throughout the swing. You don't want to be gripping harder at the top of the backswing than at the takeoff, because then you'll probably make subtle movements to the club face. Well, because you don't want to start your swing from a static position, so just moving a little bit the driver releases a little bit of tension, and it's easier to start a movement if you have like a counter movement first. So I don't know, like Jack Nicklaus had his knee, other people have a trigger, like Olazabal has thumb. It looks like he's shooting somewhere. It's just like, and then grips. I have a little one. I have a bit of a shoulder shrug, so I tend to have a little shoulder shrug, and then I take the club away. For me, that stance is fairly central. Some people go 40-60 or 60-40. It doesn't really matter. What's important for me is at the top of the backswing, you have 95% of your weight on the right foot, and at the finish of the downswing, you actually have 99% of your weight on your front foot. Feels parallel for some people, maybe short of parallel, maybe long of parallel for other people. I mean, some beautiful swings like Martin Keimer. Occasionally he'll swing a little past parallel, but for me he's not swinging too long because he's actually coiling there because he's a very flexible guy. Other people, I mean, even John Daly, okay, he's detaching, is probably a very unique swing, but he does have a huge shoulder turn. So in a way he is still connected to his arms and body are still connected. Other people may not turn their shoulders at all and just bend their arms or swing way past parallel, and that's what probably not good. So my answer to the question would be you cannot swing too far back if you are connected.